Hello and welcome to your English news broadcast live on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time. From our headquarters at Asmara with your domestic and international news in brief, I'm Zahra Badouri. But first, we'll begin with your major headlines for this hour. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. Efforts to improve health services provision. Vienna meeting signals new push to revive Iran nuclear deal. Kremlin says that any NATO troops development to Ukraine would rise in tensions. Welcome to your domestic in brief. 26 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at quarantine centers in central, northern Red Sea and Gashbarka and southern regions. Out of these, 11 patients are from quarantine centers in Asmara Central region. 6 patients are from quarantine centers in Massawa, northern Red Sea region. 6 other patients are from quarantine centers in Adibara 4, Ali Gidr 1 and Hajar 1 Gashbarka region. The last 3 patients are from Ad southern region. On the other hand, 9 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the northern Red Sea region have recovered fully and have been discharged from these facilities. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly risen to 3,058, while the number of deaths stands at 10. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 3,334. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 2 April 2021. Commendable effort is being exerted to improve and expand health services provision in the southern region. According to Dr. Emmanuel Mahratab, head of the Ministry of Health branch in the region, in 2020, modern medical equipment have been installed in 5 hospitals in the region, and that praiseworthy medical services is being provided to the public, indicating that the health facilities are equipped with necessary medical equipment and human resources. Dr. Emmanuel said that compared to that of 2019, pre- and postnatal treatment visits has increased by 64%, pregnant women delivering at health facilities by 3%, and vaccination coverage by 94%. Dr. Emmanuel went on to say that controlling communicable diseases has been the main priority program, and that malaria infection has been reduced by 50%, and death rate due to malaria has been reduced to 0 level, while TB treatment to 93%. Dr. Emmanuel also went on to say that the public to reinforce participation in the awareness-raising activities aimed at increasing the understanding of the public on health issues and not to take medicine that are not prescribed by any concerned health practitioners or professionals. In the southern region, there are 1 referral hospital, 4 hospitals, 3 community hospitals, 9 health centers, 41 health stations, as well as 2 clinics providing health services to the public there. And on your final domestic, community-based environmental sanitation activity has been implemented in 98 villages clustered in 14 administrative areas in Agordat subzone. The reports was made at an activity assessment meeting conducted with village representatives and village health coordinators. Commanding the strong participation demonstrated by the residents, Dr. Daniel Kidane, head of the environmental sanitation in the subzone, said that as a result of the program, the prevalence of communicable diseases has significantly been reduced. Mr. Abdu Yaqub, head of the environmental sanitation in Gashbarka region, on his part commanding the strong participation of the residents in Agordat subzone, called on other subzones to emulate Agordat subzone's residents with a view to ensure public health. Expressing appreciation for the support they were provided by health practitioners and administration, the residents called for more support with a view to alleviate some of the challenges that are being faced in some villages during the implementation of the program. According to the documents from Agordat subzone, 84% of of the 64,548 residents of the subzone have become beneficiaries of Laterans. Up next with your international news, do stay with us. And on your global report, U.S. officials will be in Australia's capital for separate contacts as a gratutor aims for Washington to rejoin a Kurd. The parties to the Iranian nuclear deal will meet in Vienna on Tuesday as efforts are reviving up to bringing the United States back into the agreement. U.S. officials will also be in Vienna for consultations, but so far are not expected to be part of the larger meeting. Officials announced the in-person gathering in the Australian capital after a video conference on Friday led by the EU, which is the administrator of the agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The European External Action Services, however, said in a statement that in line with the joint ministerial statement of 21 December, participants recognized the prospect of a full return of the U.S. to the JCPOA and underlined their readiness to positively address this in a joint effort, and further alleged that participants also emphasized their commitment to preserve the JCPOA and discussed modalities to ensure the return of its full and effective implementation. The statement continued saying that, quote unquote, participants agreed to resume this session of the Joint Commission in Vienna next week in order to clearly identify sanctions, lifting, and nuclear implementations measures, including through conveying meetings of the relevant expert groups. In this context, the coordinator will also intensify separate contacts in Vienna with all JCPOA participants and the United States, unquote. Iranian media reported that Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas al-Arghachi had confirmed Tehran's participation in Tuesday's meeting in Vienna. Russia's ambassador to international organization in Vienna, however, Michael Olivinov, tweeted that Friday's session went well and that the parties were prepared to further talk. While U.S. officials will be presented in Vienna, Iran as yet seems unwillingly to engage directly with Washington. The Iranians have called for the further U.S. To lift economic sanctions, which were reimposed by former President Donald Trump after he unilaterally quit the nuclear deal in May 2018. Tehran has said that it would resume its own compliance with the JCPOA once the lifting of sanctions has been verified. The U.S. in return has demanded that Iran return to full compliance with its obligations under the deal. Friday's meeting was chaired by the EEAS Deputy Secretary General Enrique Kimura. China, France, Germany, Russia, and the UK signed the original agreement with Iran and the US, as reports came. On your final reports, the Kremlin said on Friday that any development of NATO troops to Ukraine would lead to further tensions near Russia's border and force Moscow to take extra measure to ensure its own security. NATO voiced concern on Thursday over what is said was a big Russian military buildup near eastern Ukraine after Russia warned that a serious escalation in the conflict in Ukraine's Donbas region could destroy Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters on Friday that the situation at the contact line in eastern Ukraine between Ukrainian government forces and Russian-backed separatist forces was quite frightening, and that multiple provocations were taking place there. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Thursday spoke with the Ukrainian counterpart ERi-TV and condemned recent re-escalations of Russian aggressive and provocative actions in eastern Ukraine, the Pentagon reported. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, thanks for watching once more.